Hey, it's Dorleen. Welcome to my channel and my creative life. I'm working on a layout using a sketch from Stick It Down. The sketch is right here. Pretty simple one. I really like how it has like half and half on the base page. So the first thing I did is I went through my scrapbooking kits. Now I've done a layout before using this particular kit that I made from a family birthday party, and I grabbed some of the pictures. This one, I like this sketch because it's pretty simple. I think the biggest thing is using the 6 by 12 inch papers or dividing the layout in half, and then of course the photo sizes. Now this sketch had a 4 by 6 going portrait. I had mine going landscape, so it's a little bit different, but it's pretty simple. Now if you notice, there was like a film strip over there on that left side, so I grabbed a piece of this scrap that I had and I had it just there using on an angle. So that was the plan. I'm going to follow the sketch pretty much exactly at this point. I just feel like it's pretty simple and it's easy to do, and why not? And then of course, as I'm playing around, I didn't like the way that that piece of paper just sits there diagonally. I thought it just seemed kind of wonky. So I am going to make some changes on that, but you'll see that in just a minute. Now, I mentioned that I had made a scrapbooking kit using this particular paper line. I actually had a paper line that had a few items left over, and I grabbed some other paper from a different pad that coordinated very well. So I made my own kit, like I mentioned. And since these are the last of the photos that I'm using for this occasion, I really was desperate to use as much as I could. So what I did is I kind of went through, you see how these paper has just like different words. I am going to cut some of them out because I'm using those as embellishments. This particular kit that I put together, there are not a lot of embellishments, or there were, but I've been using them. And also I've been really kind of using my imagination because I, again, want to make my own embellishments with this and use as much as I can. So on this one, like I mentioned, I'm going to cut out some strips that I thought they work, like the arrow, that's pretty basic. And this is technically my uncle's 80th birthday party, but there was so much of our family there. It was really kind of like a mini reunion. So I'm definitely focusing on family and cousins, fun, things like that. Memories, all that kind of good stuff, why we scrapbook, right? Now, the other embellishments that they are right there, those brads. The only problem with those brads is they are really, really thick. So I hate using a lot of thick embellishments on my scrapbooking pages, so I had a really hard time using them, as you can tell, because it's pretty much full. I did end up using some, and you'll see in just a minute, but right now I'm just, again, using my own or making my own embellishments. Those Polaroid or faux Polaroid that I have in my right hand, and also one of them on the page, is from another full paper, and I'm just cutting those down and using those as the embellishments. I think they're really cute, and I love how they have the colored of the paper in the inside instead of just like a black, so it just adds extra color onto the layout. But I'm going to cut those down like I'm doing right here, and I'm going to add that one there as well. And then that other embellishment that's up there, this one, it says family on there in the top. That's one of those chipboard stickers. I don't know about you, but they're just so thick. So I'm going to do something fun, and you're going to see that in a little bit. But I'm going to peel off the back of that chipboard, so all I have is the top portion. Again, because I just don't like all that bulk. Now you can see here, remember I was talking about, I wasn't sure about that piece of paper just sitting there diagonally. So I ended up putting it on straight. Now the fun thing about using sketches is, sure, you can follow it exactly, which is what I had intended on doing, but you can also be inspired by it, and that's exactly what's going on here. So I still have that strip there. It's just that now it's straight and against that other 6 by 12 piece of paper instead of on a diagonal. I think it just works best. To me, I just like it so much better. It doesn't just seem kind of random on there. I mentioned earlier that this sketch is from Stick It Down, and you can find them on Facebook and also Instagram. Basically just Stick It Down, and they release sketches at the beginning of the month, every month, there's 3 different sketches. One is for a 2-page spread. The other is for a 1-page spread, which of course I'm doing right here. And then they also have card sketches. So it's kind of fun, and it's just really great to use sketches. I like to use them because they're such a great starting point. Sometimes you look at a blank page, and instead of just thinking, okay, now what? You can look at a sketch to at least guide you in the direction. And again, sketches can be done exactly, which is what I was thinking I was going to do until I made some changes, especially with that diagonal strip. But they can also be used just to inspire you. So like photo placement, or in this case, I really loved the 6x12, basically the base of the page being split in half. Now, again, I was going to use 2 different pattern papers there, but I just felt too busy on the papers that I had. Now, I could have went through my stash and looked for other things, but I mentioned earlier, I was really trying to get through the scrapbooking kit that I created, and I didn't want to introduce another page with it. So back to the layout, you saw how I'm just have that one big cluster up at the top. I'm also going to create the title base here on the bottom. The other thing I'm going to do is I feel like there's just really not a lot of embellishments with this. So I am going to use a black fine tip pen and just go around, excuse me, all 3 photos and just really wonky kind of just drawing little lines around it. I do like to do that a lot on my pages. Usually I don't do it around the photos. I'll do it around the entire page or even on the embellishments, which I am going to do as well. So you'll see the word like the family, August, and also the arrow strips. I'm going to put little lines around those as well. I don't know if it makes much of a difference, but it's kind of like the small things that make a difference at the end. They don't really stand out, but when you are looking back at the layouts, or if somebody's looking at the layout, they might be encouraged by something like that or inspired by something like that. Again, it's not that big of a deal. All it is a fine point black pen. And also, to me, I'm not a big perfectionist, so the wonkier the better, as long as it's within the realm. So if you notice non-straight lines, that's on purpose, folks. I definitely could not draw a straight line on my own without some kind of ruler or something like that. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of journaling here. I think I just put keep smiling or big smiles or something like that. So these photos, like I mentioned, are just a bunch of, like the bigger one is just me and my cousins and my uncle whose birthday it was. And then the other 2 smaller ones are just different photos of different cousins of mine that or the same cousins, but, just different groups, I guess, not all of us together. So it's really fun to look at. I am going to end up putting a title here, like I mentioned. I don't use letter stickers very often, but this one was part of the pack that I was trying to complete. It's part of the same set. So I had enough letters for the word cousins, and you're going to see me in just a minute going, wait, I can use cousins, COUSINS, because I don't know about you, but the reason why I don't like to use stickers is you get about halfway through a word and then you're like, oh, I don't have that particular letter anymore. And that's probably why I like to use my Cricut so much better, because you never run out of letters. They're just always right there. You just have to type it and cut them out. I just didn't feel like doing it this time. Now I just put them on just kind of wonky. I'm going to fix the C because I realize that's a little too low. And but again, I'm not too worried about it being straight or anything like that. And you probably noticed that I kept going back and going, God, can I use these brads? Because again, I just really trying to use my stuff. And then I saw this one, and I want to say it says Happy Memories. I don't remember. I can't see that far down. And I thought, well, God, that was kind of perfect for that. But again, I didn't like that jewel that was the brad with it because it's just too bulky. And there are some of the brads on there that have flat tops, so I'm going to use that one for that. And then I figured, well, since I got one, I might as well do a couple more. So I did add a couple more brads, and that's pretty much it. I did add some names on the top, and I do that off camera, but you'll see it at the end. But I hope you like this video, and if you do, give me a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking. The other is whatever it is I'm creating in my craft room that week, and that could literally be anything. If you're interested in any of those, I have lots of playlists, so check those out. When I'm talking other projects, I'm talking cards, I'm talking Cricut kind of things, vinyl, HTV, things like that. Let's see what else I have. Oh, my junk journal. That's always a fun thing. So mixed media, things like that. Just anyhow, check it out. I think you'd enjoy it. And if not, just follow the scrapbooking one. That's all good with me too. But anyhow, thank you again so much for watching. Again, for really cool sketches, go check out that Stick It Down site on both Facebook and Instagram and be inspired by theirs and, add your own layout as well. Thanks again for watching. Bye.